I think about like your average business out there. Like you talked about like the average S&P stock is not doing nearly as well as the S&P itself. Like how do those businesses harness AI to make more money and whether they can do it? I mean, to me, that's a really important question. I don't know the answer to it, but I think that's huge in terms of like what AI ends up being.
Well, I think that then connects to the other point of this that I think a lot of people miss. So there's a question of like, can they make more money on the top line? And then the underlying question is, often people will say, oh, well, who cares if they make more money? They'll be more profitable. And you say, okay, so let's talk about profits, because there's a relationship between technology and profitability and income, which I think gets lost. That's sort of old hat from a macro perspective, but is lost by the techno optimists. And the very short story of that is, what happens to the people that you fire if you get higher productivity or you get job savings from AI? What happens to them? What happens to their
They
spending?
spend less money.
They spend less money.
They spend less money. Yeah.
Because that is the conflict in the economy, is that one person's, a business's spending on employment is a person's income, which leads to their spending, which helps businesses top line. And so I think the story of saying, if you ask the techno optimists, you say, they'll say, hey, look, this is going to cut, a huge amount of jobs and lead to great margins. And then you ask them, okay, well, when those people lose their jobs and they don't have any more money, who's going to spend on the company's outputs? And that like heads explode and they have no answer. I mean, I'm serious. Like I've bring on the techno optimist who can answer that question. Because right now, nobody has answered that question. And the reason why they can't answer that question, well, first of all, they're not particularly familiar with the macroeconomic dynamics. But second of all, because the answer to the question is that spending falls. So unless aggregate productivity increases and that aggregate productivity flows into real wages, you don't actually see a benefit to GDP and to company profits.